Bulletcast for life.
Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know who I am. I am a microphone messiah. I am the current reigning, defending, undisputed Bulletcast champion, just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. This title reign is hashtag forever undisputed. For life, brother. It feels good being the world champion. It really does. I love it. But another person who's also been the world champion when it comes to podcasting, he's my tag team partner, the Jim and my J, the Totem Arm, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the host of the award-winning Under the Radar host and creator for Balls and Chair Shots. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the first ever and also a 10-time Bulletcast champion, the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means.
We got another episode of the Bulletcast. Doing fantastic, Phillip. I'm not gonna complain about the whole night 2 debacle. Maybe we should have been a title defense. Shouldn't have been. You know what? I'm just gonna move on. Royal Rumble's right around the corner. I'll win it then.
Yes, Royal Rumble. I'm excited. You know, you get 2 picks for each Rumble, Raw and SmackDown. I'm excited, man. Let's do this. I think I will retain at the Rumble as well because you know the Rumble's been good to me the last couple years. I always seem to either retain it or get it back there. So I'm looking forward to it. But you know, speaking of exciting news, let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. I will be the lead commentator for Global Syndicate Wrestling High Voltage. This is going to be like their AEW Dark or their NXT. You know, GSW. I interviewed their promoter Brandon. He has a great name, by the way. Love that name.
Great name, and he spells it right.
Yes, absolutely. If his name was Phillip, it would have been even perfect. But yeah, you know, so I interviewed him last year, and you know, I made a joke like, "Hey, if there's any room for commentary, let me do it." Ha ha. You know, like I thought just like a match, but I'm going to be doing a whole show. I'm going to be the voice of a whole show, Brandon. I'm excited, man. Of course, they're having their main show, Inception, on February 20th. You can see Alexander Hammerstone and Joe Doring wrestling for their heavyweight title. And you can see Latina Heat Shaw Guerrero wrestling Impact star Deonna Purrazzo. But, I mean, High Voltage, it's going to be like their NXT where they're going to have championships. They're going to have a GSW Next Gen champion. And then there's going to be a Next Gen Women's champion. And the main event for High Voltage is going to be pretty insane, dude. So they're going to be doing a tournament, but they're combining like the Royal Rumble and the G1 together.
Sounds very interesting, Phillip. Congratulations. I know you talked to me a little bit beforehand, but now that the news is official, there you go. There's a thumb right there.
Give me the orange. Give me the orange, Cassidy. Thanks, man. But I'm gonna talk about the main event real quick. So it's gonna be a battle royal, and it's going to be a seeded tournament. If you're familiar with like sports and wrestling, then you know how seeds work. So the first person thrown over, they're going to be the 16th seed. The last person standing in the ring is the first seed. And then on the A block, it's going to be let me get the proper way to do this. But it's gonna be something really, really cool. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, so the first person eliminated will be the 16th seed, and then the winner's the number 1 seed. So number 1 will go on to face 16, 2 faces 15, 3 faces 14, and so on and so forth. So the A block, you're going to see 1 through 4, and then 13 through 16, while the B block has 5 through 12. So that's at. And then the winner of their respective blocks, they face each other, and they become the first ever Next Gen champion for GSW. So it's exciting, man. You know, GSW, they're doing great work. They got a promotion or a deal with Fight Globe, and then of course they're doing that wrestler relief fund that we talked about. You know, wrestlers are independent contractors, and you know, if a wrestler's coming down on some hard times, they can be able to give them a little financial stability for the time being. So we're doing great work over there. I'm very excited for this. You know, Brandon, maybe you want to come? You want to come show?
Maybe I'll show up, but apparently word on the street is I have to be more charismatic. That's what the people tell me I have to be.
Hey! You know that guy wants to come on the show. I might have to let you loose on him.
He don't want it.
He don't want it. Let him know this is
this is a children's show. This is a PG show. You know,
I'll let you loose on a recap.
Maybe Under the Radar comes back. Eventually, one of these days. Who knows?
Let them know this is the shoot era. We don't take that. You know what I'm saying? You're good at what you do. That's why you're here. If I didn't think you were good, you wouldn't be here. It's just that simple. Yeah. Woo! Got to support your friends, man. You got to support your friends. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some SmackDown. Biggie defeats Apollo Crews in a very interesting match to retain the Intercontinental Championship. It was a double pin, and then they said, no, restart this. And Apollo slapped a mess out of E slapped a mess out of Apollo. Yeah. I like that a lot.
We're seeing this in SmackDown. We're going to talk more a little later, but Apollo, one of those guys who wasn't really built up, and then just all of a sudden Vince looks around and is like, we don't really have anybody to push, so I guess we'll pick Apollo, and they have him face off against Biggie. I guess Apollo's turning heel. Not exactly sure how that's working out, but good match. I like having Biggie just kind of turning it on and being able to. He can still be fun-loving Biggie, but when he's angry and he's like more serious than angry, I think that's really where he's gonna shine and be successful.
My God, what are your thoughts about the possible Apollo Crews joining Roman's little faction there? I know he's not Samoan. I know he's not part of the bloodline, but it'd be interesting, Roman having another lackey to, take the beatings.
I think if you're gonna add someone to the the family, I think you want it to be like maybe a tag team or like Tamina, a woman, just kind of have it like differentiate. You don't want to just have like a whole bunch of different quote unquote mid-carders, getting pulled up by Roman. I mean, you could do that, and I think Roman and everyone could still do fine work, but I think just don't make it like the NWO. Don't just because it's hot, it's being successful the way it is right now. Don't think you can just add more ingredients to the soup and the soup is still going to taste good.
I mean, I know there were 80 members of the NWO. I know the Samoan dynasty has more than that. But I don't know, man. And the thing with Apollo Crews, like we talked about how MVP elevated like Alexander, Benjamin, and Lashley. He elevated Apollo during that time in the Performance Center when they were feuding over the U.S. Championship, and Apollo was gone, and MVP introduced the new current version of the U.S. title. So I mean, Apollo had a little bit of elevation, then he was off TV, moved over to SmackDown. Maybe I mean, the way Paul Heyman talked to Big E is what kind of really started this little hot streak that he got on. So maybe that can work for Apollo too. I'm not sure. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode defeat the Street Profits. We have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, once again, there's not a lot of tag teams, and so then they're like, "Oh, Ziggler and Roode's here. I guess we'll elevate them," even though they've been jobbers and lackeys for I don't even know how long, for like the past few months.
Hold on. Roode is a tag team specialist. We know this. We know this from the TNA days. And Ziggler's so good at tag teams, he can just be put in there with anybody and win them. I mean, come on. The Spirit Squad?
But
Drew McIntyre?
They just showed up and then started beating the tag team champions after they were gone for however long it was.
We've heard this for a decade. Ziggler's that damn good, guys. He's that damn good. Now, can we just put the world title on him? Please, that's all I want. That's all I want here.
I think Pat Patterson has came back reincarnated as Phillip because Phillip loves him some Dolph Ziggler.
I love Dolph Ziggler. I bought a Dolph Ziggler plaque from you. Ziggler's my dude. He's the guy. Love him. Sonya Deville is back. How do you feel about that? That was your girl.
Very underrated, Sonya Deville. I mean, with the whole stipulation of loser leaves WWE and they just like, oh, she's reinstated. I mean, I guess that's what you have to do, because if you are going to kick someone out of the company, but then you have plans to bring them back eventually, it's kind of weird to have that stipulation in the first place. Maybe they should have just done like, gone for the rest of the year, or, something a little lower than just a loser leaves town, or she goes to NXT or something like that.
I mean, I'm trying to think. She has like a backstage role on SmackDown now. Mandy's on Raw, so that's kind of over. I like the suit she's wearing. Somebody said she was dressing like Michael Jackson. I don't know where that came from. Maybe because of the chains and stuff. But I mean, she's like in a kind of like what Eve was. We're gonna talk about Eve when we talk about this day in wrestling. Kind of like a backstage role. Getting a little bit of power. Maybe book herself to win the title. We don't know.
I mean, just looking around the women's division, I think having Sonya come in there, I think she's still, I call her underrated. I do think that she still has some skills. I think she carries herself quite well in ring wise. Still, maybe has a little bit of work to do, but right now with Sasha being the champion, I mean, I think maybe like a stepping stone for like Bianca Belair. If she wants to, make it to the next level. I mean, she's fine. She's okay, but I just don't know exactly where you place her. But it's just the overall women's division in Raw and SmackDown is kind of like it's top heavy, and then just like everyone else where it's like they don't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. All right. So there was a gauntlet match on SmackDown to determine the person who would challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal title of the Royal Rumble. One of the things WWE does best are these gauntlet matches. Seth had that awesome performance a couple of years ago. Kofi ran the gauntlet, and that's how Kofi Mania kind of started getting hot. Nakamania could be running wild, brother. We don't know. We don't know because like the guy's been healed for 2 years, but you fell in love with Nakamura all over again in this performance in this gauntlet match. I mean, he beat Rey Mysterio, he beat Daniel Bryan, he beat Baron Corbin. Like top level guys, a couple former world champions. And then he runs into Adam Pearce, the former NWA champion. So Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce will be challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal title. But I was listening to Sam Roberts' podcast, and he says this may not be the final match, the final confirmed match. I know they made a graphic, but there's a possibility we could get Nakamura versus Reigns at the Royal Rumble.
I think we're going to get Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns. I did enjoy the opening segment with the back and forth of Roman, and he's just like the power hungry, superstar athlete who has more control over the coach and everybody else on the team. And I think it's really, fantastic right now. And I think with Adam Pearce, you need to kind of walk that line. And I think they did it okay on the show where like he has the back history. He's an NWA champion. He can wrestle. But yeah, he's retired. He hasn't wrestled in a few years. So I just don't want him to be like John Laurinaitis was, back in the day when he wrestled John Cena, and just John Laurinaitis was just a buffoon and didn't know how to do anything when, people who knew he was like, not the best wrestler in the world, but he was this very successful wrestler back in Japan in WCW. And it's like, you're making him look like an idiot. And I think with the whole Roman Reigns situation, I think this definitely needs to be more serious. And I think you can tell the story of Adam Pearce, he doesn't really want to do it, but he's going to try his best. I think it's like a Toby Keith song. I'm not as good as I once was, but I was as good once as I ever was. And I think that's what Adam Pearce is going to try to do.
It's going to be interesting to see the head of the table going up against the Scrap Daddy for the Universal title. I can't wait. All right. Cody Rhodes was on Chris Jericho's podcast, and he said AEW's biggest pro is also its biggest con. With the amount of creative freedom, but there's not really enough communication. There's a lack of communication. Hence why we've talked about segments repeating each other. Like, hey, come join the Dark Order. Hey, come join Team Taz, coming back to back in segments where there needs to be more communication. That's what he said. And we've talked about this. We have.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where he's coming from. You have, good promos. Maybe sometimes they're kind of lackadaisical promos, but you can just feel like at least when they're talking, they're coming from the heart. And there are sort of repetitive aspects to AEW. I mean, the tag team matches, the, join our team, whatever. But I think overall, there's still a very young promotion. It's been whatever, like quote unquote 2 years, but like a year and a half with AEW Dynamite, or not even a year and a half, like a year and 4 months. And I think they're going to iron these things out. And I think we're kind of at the point to where we feel like AEW is a real thing and they're going to be around for a while. So I think they're going to get it together and they'll figure out, they'll get in their groove eventually, which I think they kind of are, but there's still some things they got to iron out.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. All right, outside of the ring, ladies and gentlemen, the current WWE champion, Drew McIntyre, has tested positive for COVID-19. He adjusted via cell phone or via satellite on Monday Night Raw, and he will be wrestling Goldberg for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Roman said it best. Drew's the guy they call when Roman doesn't want to do it. But I think this is the first time a sitting WWE champion has had any kind of ailment like this. Hopefully, Drew makes a speedy recovery. I mean, the Rumble is what?
I mean, we did have the Roman, situation a few years ago.
What?
When he announced he had leukemia and he came back.
Oh, I said WWE champion. I didn't say Universal champion.
Sorry.
Gotta listen to the lingo, bud. I mean, yeah, Roman. Yeah. Thank God Roman came back.
We almost about to say R.I.P.
No.
It kind of sounded like you were going to say R.I.P.
No. I would never do that. He's alive. Doesn't make any sense. All right. So we're gonna see Drew versus Goldberg. That's gonna be interesting. Nick Jackson, he had COVID-19. Is this true?
This is true. We have 2 top tier AEW people have come out and said they have tested positive for COVID. Nick Jackson said he had COVID back in the fall, as well as Chris Jericho said he had COVID back in the fall. Jericho said in this podcast that he had it sometime in September. But if you go back to that timeline, Jericho was on every episode of Dynamite in September. I know they do the tapings and everything like that, so there probably could have been like a timetable where he tested positive, after the fact, and he was able to quarantine in between television tapings. But we're seeing AEW. They have their fair share of issues as well. We had Lance Archer come into contact. He didn't test positive. John Moxley had Renee Young test positive. So, we've seen some things go on. And I just think overall, I kind of wish we had a little bit more transparency about like the COVID protocols. I'm not asking for every time someone tests positives, we say Nick Jackson tested positive, Jericho tested positive, McIntyre. You can just like do a blank statement. Just say like they're in the protocol, someone came in contact or whatever. It's kind of like in sports. Like you can say they're in the protocol without saying they tested positive. There's a whole bunch of different aspects, and even like the testing and everything like that, they're still kind of ambivalent and there's some ambiguity about exactly what's going on.
That's a $20 word, bud.
I know I might not have charisma, but I got it the Thorth. A Thorth, baby.
I got a Thorth, baby. There we go. You threw some Dusty. I love this, Brandon. I love it. It's the HIPAA law. Companies can't announce like their employees' health records or whatever. So if it's on the employee,
but you're not saying that they have it. You could just say that they're in the protocol.
Well, if they, then that's basically, oh yeah, they have it.
Not really. You can say that you don't have to say they have it. If you're in the protocol, you can be in contact with someone who came in contact with someone who had it.
Okay. I mean, like on the Drew McIntyre side, I'm sure he allowed the company to like tell the people like, "Hey, I got this,"
Which is, I'm happy they did that. They kind of have to because it's the WWE champion. He's there all the time. We go back to it. I don't know if it was like around SummerSlam, but around that time, like Apollo Crews was kind of like mysteriously gone, and there was rumors about him. He tested positive. And then
I think they only did it. I think they only did it because he's the champion.
I mean, we're whatever, like 16, 12 months, whatever, how long ever this pandemic has been. And, we're still trying to figure out exactly how everything works, and we still got a long way to go.
Vaccines are out, ladies and gentlemen. The elderly are up next. All the healthcare providers and essential workers in the medical field have gotten it. So
one more thing. I will say, Chris Jericho, bad week to announce you had COVID the same week that you had like a conspiracy theorist about COVID on your podcast.
Oh, man. Oh, no. Jesus. All right, well, keeping the AEW talk rolling. AEW will be moving to Miami in the month of February. A lot of wrestlers have complained about how cold it is in Jacksonville, and even though they have heaters surrounding the ring area. And I guess it's a little warmer in Miami, so that's where they're going to be moving. They're going to have their beach break event episode of Dynamite, but February 3rd or whatever. And so, yeah, that's going to be a nice change of scenery because we've been looking at the same thing for almost a year now.
Yeah, it's a nice change of scenery, going back to kind of the WCW Nitro era of doing like a beach type of theme, a nightclub type of theme. And you're going to Jacksonville, you're there for however long it's been, 6-8 months, week in, week out, trying to sell tickets. So now going down to Miami, different venue, different, people can go and check your place out, check your thing out, and it changes it up. It's warmer. I know people think like Jacksonville, it's in Florida, so it's always warmer, but it's not exactly the warmest of place during the winter and springtime.
Just go to Pensacola. It was always warm there. I used to live there. I know. All right, Ryback takes shots at WWE champions and championships. So WWE on Fox said the best superstar to ever win the WWE title is, and Ryback responded, "Wrestling's fake, guys, and the championships are props to market entertainers as champions. Nobody's actually ever won or lost a prop. As scripted physical entertainment is incapable of that. This tweet explains so much, though your TV deal with them." Huh.
Someone sounds a little salty.
Yeah, he's taking shots at Paul Heyman as of late. I mean, we've heard guys talk about, what it means to be the WWE champion. I mean, you listen to Drew McIntyre talk about it all the time. It's an achievement in the fact of like, hey, you've put in the work. It's time for you to shine. You know what I mean? That's the achievement. And people they hold those things with pride. Like that thing behind me, I wear that with pride. You know what I mean? Like it's under like the same pride that LeBron has when he has all his championships rings, or Jordan with the championship rings, or Tom Brady with a Super Bowl trophy. You know what I mean? Or Trent Richardson with the Heisman. That the same level of admiration and celebration that those guys have for those accomplishments in sports, people have for championships in the world of professional wrestling.
You might not have earned the title by winning it physically, but you still earned the championship by your performance and everything that led up to that point.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, inside of the ring, Broseph Joe Brody makes an appearance on AEW Dark, and we see AJ Kirsch in the fan section for AEW Dynamite. We just keep striking, Brandon. We just keep striking here. I interviewed him once. He goes on to do some work with MLW. Interviewed him again. He's doing this. You see?
Look at that.
We're just
Golden
doing it, man.
touch.
Golden touch. The Rascals, they finally debut in NXT. They left Impact Wrestling. The other two besides Trey Miguel, I can't think of their names at the moment. I'm sorry, guys. Apologize. All right, WCW Sin in 2001. Oh my God, 20 years ago. What was it? Shane Douglas. He wins the United States Championship. Final Resolution 2007. Christian defeats Abyss and Sting to win the TNA or NWA World Championship. Raw on this day in 2008, Jeff Hardy defeats Randy Orton, non-title. I think this is the episode. This is the one where Jeff dives off of the high platform. Yeah. He's done that so many times, right? But this is like the really cool one. Raw on this day in 2013, you see Caitlyn defeat Eve for the Divas Championship. I think this was Eve's last match. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mae Young dies on this day in 2014. The WWE UK tournament starts in 2017 on this day. Raw 2019. Bobby Lashley defeats Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to become the Intercontinental Champion. So the way he won it was so great. He celebrated so wonderfully. Championships matter, ladies and gentlemen. Casey Catanzaro is 30 years old. Riddle is 34. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan, is 67 years old. Congratulations, Hacksaw. Make it another year. Keep staying with us. Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. You're gonna hit that note?
No, it's just Disco Infernoing.
Oh, you're not gonna hit the note? I would, but I don't want to give the people too much. They got to go to the Patreon for that.
Or
All right.
OnlyFans.
Whoa!
It's not only what you think it is, Phillip.
Look, when you hear OnlyFans, boom, that's all you think of. That is all you think of. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Selena Vega got fired.
Mind out of the gutter.
Whoa, my mind. Whoa! I'm live from the gutter. Shout out Drake. All right, fan mail. Dan, if you guys were wrestlers, would you work heel or babyface? I'd be a heel, hands down. It's so easy. I'd have so much fun, like looking at the children and making them cry, like you little ish. Yeah. Having my Triple H quote unquote reign of terror with the Bullet Cast title, main eventing.
I'm such a lovable person. I have so much charisma dripping with it that people have to email about how much I have it. I would be a babyface, duh.
Oh, wow.
Duh.
That
And then,
guy actually,
we go back and forth, Stone Cold The Rock, we main event like 3 WrestleManias, and then we make millions of dollars. Then you go off to be a movie star, and I just sit back, drink beer, have a ranch and have a good time.
Have a entertaining talk show on USA Network a few 15 years after the match, after the rivalry's over.
Yeah, I mean, if I get paid to talk to Luke Combs and drink some beer, I'm all for that.
Luke Combs? You a Luke Combs guy? Hurricane, right?
Good job, Phillip. You named one Luke Combs song.
Well, hey, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. I'm sorry.
Can you name another one?
Of course I could, but we have a show to do.
We have so much more to talk about.
We have so much more to talk about. Who do you 420?
Who do you?
There we go. I know there was a problem with the pre-taped part of what happened, but let's throw fireballs every week. Yeah, let's do it. Let's throw fireballs every week, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Jack of all trades. The Scrap Daddy versus the biggest dog in the yard. Let's do this. I was a big fan of Adam Pearce and always hated that he never made it to the main stage. I know he won't win, but I'm excited. Hey, man, people have said that Adam Pearce is a low rent Christopher Daniels, even though he's a bigger version of a CD. But yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over to the Instagram DMs. Dun, 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 dun.
We all know who's over there.
Yes. And Brad is AX.
Mr. X.
There we go. Was I the only one who thought of this? By having the Lucha Bros come down to help Mox instead of the Young Bucks to defuse the situation seems to muddy the water a bit as far as the Elite storyline goes. We'll talk about that once we get to AEW. Should they have drawn out the feud between Biggie and Sami Zayn with the payoff of E winning the IC title at the Rumble? They could have done that. Let Sami be a crappy heel for all those weeks leading up to the Rumble. Well, from news I read, Ric Flair is going to be Lacey Evans' manager for the foreseeable future. So what's the end game with this situation here? Lacey Evans gets the Women's Championship. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, Lacey Evans defeats Charlotte Flair. Ric Flair pulls Charlotte's leg, and Lacey flops on top of her, and Rick holds his daughter's leg down. Old school finish. I liked it. Anytime I see Nate, I love it. I thought it was fine.
I mean, I guess we're getting creepy old man Ric Flair again with Lacey Evans, even though it's like,
whoa. Why's he got to be a creepy old man? He's Nate. He's just being Nate. He's not creepy.
It's just Nate.
He's just Nate, Woo. My shoes cost more than your house. Yeah.
Stepdaddy Nate, because it is canon that Lacey Evans has a kid.
No. This is the business relationship. We're not. Whoa, why are you making it weird?
I mean,
Ric
you're making
Flair,
it weird by talking about OnlyFans like that.
No, nobody's talking about OnlyFans. Ric Flair is a happily married man. Okay. No, we're not doing it. I thought Lacey Evans was married. Is she not married?
She is married. But we don't. I mean, they don't talk about that on screen.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, moving on. The other thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, Triple H is on Raw. Randy Orton comes out there, says that Triple H's balls are in Stephanie's purse. Hunter
haven't heard that one before.
Hunter punches him. Hey, that'll get you, man. Like, what you say? What you say? I've heard that before, but what you say? Anyway, it leads to a fight between Orton and Hunter on Raw. And then the lights go out. There's fire on the sledgehammer. Alexa Bliss shows up, throws a fireball in Randy Orton's face.
Yeah, I mean, with the Drew McIntyre situation, they were going to have the Randy Orton Drew McIntyre main event going up against the college football national championship. They wanted to have a big main event to kind of cancel it out or kind of go up head to head with it. I mean, I think it's fine. I'm not going to, poo-poo on Triple H just kind of going out there last minute. And people might say he's trying to steal the spotlight. No, I mean, I don't think he is. I think he's just kind of doing what he has to do for the company. And it was just kind of a little bit of walking brawl. And then the gimmicks at the end. It's the gimmicks at the end with the Fiend. We've come to know and love and hate it. And yeah, I mean, the fireball, the blatant cut scenes and everything like that did kind of look a little wonky and weird. And I did feel they kind of put it too much, or not too much, but they focused too long on Randy Orton selling the fireball. Like, I think if they cut out like 10 seconds more, I still probably would have hated it, but it just wouldn't have been as awkward.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. That is very, very true. Brandon, let's go over to AEW. Dynamite! You have the bastard Pac going up against Eddie Kingston. I couldn't think of his nickname. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Kingston was bumping his ass off for Pac, and it was a nice little match. All in all, Pac hits the Black Arrow for the 1-2-3, and then he puts him in the Brutalizer.
We actually did not have an opening tag team match for AEW Dynamite. I don't know if this is a first, but it felt like a first. And I very much enjoyed this match. I thought, Kingston, mostly known as like, the hardcore brawling guy, but he was able to go in there and they had a really good wrestling match. I thought with Pac won as he should. A little bit of interference with Butcher, Blade, and Bunny. Lucha Bros come out, try to even the odds. And overall, I thought it was a really good match, good, sort of high paced, from Pac's side of things, and puts Pac over. Not saying this is like the end of the feud, but as Mr. X said, kind of having the Lucha Bros come out with Moxley and the Young Bucks at the end, possibly kind of, muddying the water and maybe having them go off and doing their own thing with the tag title situation.
Absolutely. Let's see. All right, Matt Hardy brand. So, Private Party are having a conversation, or they're being interviewed by who was it? Was it Marvez or Dasha?
Dasha.
Shout out Dasha. Love me some Dasha. Yeah, and then Matt Hardy says like, "No, I speak." And they're like, "Hey man, why are you taking 30% from us?" And Matt Hardy was like, I learned on at All Out that nobody really cares about you, and I'm trying to teach you guys a lesson. So Matt Hardy being the greedy old man that just wants money and can take the easy road by signing talent and not getting in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what it's going on. I mean, they do the thing on BTE to where, he's kind of been, asking them to sign the contract. I thought like they haven't signed the contract, but then I guess they did. And it went from 50%. Now it's down to 30%. And I mean, I guess this is just kind of the bad side of watching everything, because then I get bogged down in all the semantics and all the question marks. But I think it is good that they're making Private Party like realize what's going on, and they're not like idiots and just, getting undercut by Matt Hardy.
I said this in the click last night. Go listen to that whenever it drops. Yeah. So I feel as though Private Party are going to get an opportunity at the tag titles, and then they go to Matt like, "Hey, if we win, this is over. This business partnership is done. Like, we'll still be cool, but like, we can't have you as manager anymore." And then I think Matt cost them the tag titles, so we can keep them.
Sure. Why not? Why the hell not?
All right, the Inner Circle had New Year's resolutions. Jake Hager, championships, yeah, woo, yeah, championships. And then Chris Jericho said him and MJF are gonna win the tag titles. Sammy's like, hold on, Chris, you're a tag team slut. Sammy and Jericho were the sex gods, which I loved. And then he started teaming with Hager, and then he wants to team with MJF. And then Santana was like, Chris, you recruited Ortiz and I to be the tag team in the Inner Circle. So next week, a triple threat, a three-way dance tag team match. Proud and Powerful goes up against Sammy Hager, which was a part of, if you got the reference, Sammy Hager, part of Van Halen back in the day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know, right? Jericho's like, Sammy Hager, do you get it? No, never mind. And then, of course, Jericho and MJF, and the winner will be the official team of the Inner Circle. Proud and Powerful need to win this. They really do, because, yeah, that just makes sense.
I really hope they do. I'm a little scared they won't, but I'm going to put my faith in AEW that the actual real tag team is going to win the tag team match. You never know, but
you never know.
I thought the segment itself, I thought it was entertaining. They did a little funny haha, but it wasn't like too over the top, and they kind of got everything back on track. They didn't focus too much on the Hager Wardlow match. They were just like, we fought, the match is over, we got through it, and we're just not gonna like hold a grudge, which I enjoyed.
Absolutely. All right, the Dark Order segment, they were interviewed by Marvez, I believe, yeah. They said they are going to continue on their mission in honor of Mr. Brody Lee, who unfortunately passed away. And yeah, they said they're going to start by getting Adam Page to join the Dark Order. Adam Page will be teaming with the Dark Order next week. Yeah.
Yeah, continuing on with Hangman Page kind of flirting with the idea with the Dark Order. I don't know where this is going to lead. I think with Brody Lee's passing, we haven't really like talked too much about it, but I don't think just kind of filling someone else into that leader role really makes sense. I think just have them be the collection of the Dark Order as they are now. Maybe, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson can kind of be the pseudo leaders.
Like director of operations type deal, not official leader. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, they're all a committee. Maybe you can add more people if you want, but don't have like another leader, especially like if Hangman Page just kind of plops in there. I don't think he is going to, join Dark Order, but I think he's just kind of haphazardly saying like, oh no, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm a lone cowboy, and just kind of go on his merry way.
Absolutely. All right. The Elite defeat Danny Limelight and the Varsity Blondes. The Elite consisting of Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion. And then Don Callis says, Kenny Omega's best friends in the whole world, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, the Impact Tag Team Champions show up. I got worked, ladies and gentlemen. I've been watching wrestling all these years and I still get worked. Haha. Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. It was a good match. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
With the Don Callis intro, I kind of saw it coming, but I do agree kind of with Mr. X. It does muddy the waters of what the Young Bucks are doing because we go back to their feud with FTR. They were kind of heels, but they were like full blood. I mean, they were heels, but then like they didn't like explain their actions or they didn't like, go full fledged in that direction. Then they turned babyface or went back to being what they normally were doing. And then they join up with the big bad heel faction with Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And then they just get discarded to the side. It's almost the Seth Rollins route to where the Authority didn't want him anymore. So now they are baby faces again, which I still like don't know what exactly the Young Bucks' moral compass is right now, which I guess is a good thing because it is kind of intriguing to see where they go and where they exactly land. But I feel like throughout this really the entire run on Dynamite, the Young Bucks have kind of been taking a back seat. Maybe just they don't want to overpush themselves, but you have this big angle where they were quote unquote, I guess they turned heel, but then they didn't. And I don't know. It's very confusing.
It is very confusing. I mean, he came into a brawl. Mox shows up. He just F it, and then he goes and attacks them all. Lucha Bros come out there, super kick the Young Bucks. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to be happening. All right.
One thing I will say, Danny Limelight, I've never really seen him wrestle before. I was very impressed in this match.
I'm a fan. I like his work. He said he's the hottest free agent, so we'll see. We'll see. All right. The waiting room. It's been on AEW Dark, and now it made its way over to AEW Dynamite.
Keep that ish on Dark.
Hold on. We could have this on Dynamite. We can fix this. So, she was talking crap about her guest, being a heel. It's kind of what Piper did with Piper's Pit back in the day. Okay, fine. Cody comes out, and then Jade Cargill comes out. She is in fantastic shape. Like, she looks like a monster. Jade says she and Shaq are tired of waiting. Where's my opponent? Brandy's gone for 9 months. Red Velvet steps up. Jade towered over her. Like, Jade should have just knocked her out with like one punch. Like, that's how that should have went. I don't know if they can find a woman who has any ties to the Rhodes family that can go up against Jade. I don't know if they can do that. So it turned into like the Jerry Springer Maury, Pier 6 brawl type of thing, yada, yada, yada. And then we just see this clip of Thunder Rosa being choked out by Dr. Britt Baker. There was no like play the clip. They just went to that. And then we see this pre-tape from Thunder Rosa. So that Rosa and Baker at Beach Break. Yeah.
So I know Thunder Rosa came in contact with someone with COVID, so she couldn't be on the show. Overall, I know I kind of poo-pooed on it, but it was, I think Britt Baker and Reba's interactions were kind of funny, kind of over the top. But I felt like there was just like too much stuff going on. You bring in Cody didn't say a single word, and then they do the whole Jade Cargill thing, and then they have a brawl with them, and then they go to the Britt Baker side, and I think it was just kind of a little bit too much. I think if you just kind of take one of those things out of the equation, then maybe it would have been a little better.
Red Velvet comes in there, Jade lays her out and is like, "This is the best you got. I want a real opponent." Then she slaps Cody again. She dips. Cody maybe says a couple words. Britt cuts him off. They go home.
Yeah, or if you want to do the whole Thunder Rosa thing, you could have just done it, I don't know, on its own, but Britt's right there. I do understand that maybe the whole thing was supposed to be Jade and Brandy, but because the whole pregnancy thing, it kind of, derailed everything. So they're kind of thinking on the fly. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass, but I did feel it was a little too convoluted.
Absolutely. All right. FTR defeats the Jurassic Express consisting of Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. FTR should have beat them sooner, a lot sooner.
I thought the match was fine. Marco Stunt, still not the biggest fan of Marco Stunt, but if you're going to have them go up against Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, FTR definitely should have won. I wonder if they're trying to protect Luchasaurus a little bit and, actually the Luchasaurus Jungle Boy dynamic, which I still feel they maybe could do a little bit more with them, but FTR winning as they should. Don't know exactly where they go because, as we said, the Young Bucks have the titles. Maybe they're doing something with the Lucha Bros. FTR just kind of keep on chugging along, getting their wins, unless they get kind of derailed with a, a grudge feud, then I don't know where they go from here.
I don't know. They're gonna have a second show debuting sometime, I think, later this year or in 2022. So I don't know. Maybe they'll be the stars of that. You know, it's gonna be. I think Cody said it's gonna be 1 hour. So I don't know. It's gonna be like their WCW Thunder type deal. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. All right, Serena Deeb successfully retains the NWA Women's Championship. She defeats Tay Conti. Tay was accompanied by Anna Jay and the Dark Order. Yes, throw it up. Yeah. All right. It was a solid match. Deeb wins with the Gotch style. It's not a pile driver. Gotch style slam, kind of like Cesaro's neutralizer. Yeah. What do you think of this match? Deeb used to train Tay Conti when Deeb was one of the trainers at the Performance Center for the women's class.
The match was all right. They had one commercial break. They didn't stay for too long. One thing is you have the NWA Women's Championship and the AEW Women's Championship on the same show. And I just feel, unless it's a contractual thing, but they're just using the NWA title more than their actual title, which I don't agree with. I feel like why can't Hikaru Shida come out and have a 8-minute match with Tay Conti and beat her that way, instead of doing the thing with Abaddon or having Serena Deeb come out and do her thing? I know they have some sort of agreement with the NWA and they want to get exposure and everything like that, but I feel like you should get your own house in order before promoting and talking about other people's stuff.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and the main event was for the TNT Championship. It is the championship of America's Greatest Network. Darby Allin successfully defeats the Machine Brian Cage to retain the title. Cage was just effing him up. I thought Brian Cage should have won the match. I thought Brian Cage should be the TNT champion right now. I really did. Cage introduces this steel. The spot of him just military pressing Darby and throwing him all the way out to the ring through that table was really cool. Darby's bleeding. He's busted open. Cage introduces the steel steps. Darby bites Cage's hand. Cage falls into the steps. Coffin drop onto the steps. All of that's going on. Hits a code red, 1-2 kick out. Then Hook and Starks want to get involved. Sting comes out and actually uses his effing bat finally. Jesus Christ. So he does that. And Darby with a crucifix off of the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Darby Allin's still the champion.
Good match. I thought it was a good main event. I think the one thing that really hurt this match is I don't think there was any fans at all in the arena. I think this was an empty arena taping. And I think with a match like this,
there were fans there?
I don't think there were.
I could have sworn there were fans there.
I feel like there was not a lot of, if any, really cuts to the crowd. You can see that there was like empty seats where there's normally like a little bit of fans, and it was really quiet. And I think for a match like this, when the babyface are just getting beaten down forever, and I think we talked about this last week, to where the 1 count is very, very, useful to really get the crowd amped up. And they did it like 2 times where Darby kicked out at 1 and he kicked out, and you can hear the wrestlers at ringside kind of doing some stuff, but I felt like because of the story they were trying to tell of like trying to get the crowd behind them when there wasn't a crowd really there, it was kind of hard to really get into the match and really get behind Darby. Besides that, I think they did really good for the cards they were dealt. And we also kind of predicted that Sting was going to finally come out and even up the odds, as he did, and as he probably should have, because he's been doing the same thing every single week. But Darby getting the win, it's good. Still kind of a fluky way to win, which I think is definitely the way it should have happened. You shouldn't have Darby hit his finish and, pin Cage 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. But continuing on with the feud, I don't know if this is leading to a tag match with Darby and Sting against Team Taz or whatnot.
I have no idea. We shall wait and see. Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? I will give it to Roman Reigns. I thought his performance on SmackDown was very good. Adam Pearce didn't want to do it, and Roman's like, "This is my show. I employ you."
I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm just gonna give it to Miro because we didn't talk about his match on the show today. He beat Chuck Taylor, and now he has a new young boy with him, which I'm a little scared to see what they're gonna do with it. But it should be fun, and should be some, especially with Trent gone for a few months. Chuck is probably gonna get into some shenanigans with Miro.
You never know. Chuck might impeach Miro as his boss. We don't know. We shall wait and see.
Not Brandon, 1 but 2 times.
Oh yes. 2 time. Brandon is going to give us our promo and match pick of the week. So Brandon, what is the promo pick of the week?
Well, So I'm just going to meld the promo and the match pick together. I told you last week I picked a Brody Lee promo. We're going to continue on the Brody Lee tribute realm. I'm going to go to Chikara. We got 2008. We got Claudio Castagnoli, also known as Cesaro, taking on Brody Lee, also known as Luke Harper, in a steel cage match. Chikara, you guys might think of more fun-loving, family-oriented type of promotion.
Fire Ant.
They had a stellar feud between Claudio and Brody Lee. So go and check it out. This is on YouTube. You can. This is from September 7th, 2008, a cage match between Claudio and Brody Lee. There's just a big culmination match between these two big rivalry feuds. So go back, watch some of the promos, watch some of the matches that they've had leading up to this. And the big blow off, a cage match, September 7th, 2008. I think if you just type in like Brody Lee, Claudio Castagnoli, or Cesaro, I think it's like, even if you just type in Cesaro and Luke Harper cage match, Chikara, it should come up.
Awesome. So what about the promo?
I'm saying you watch some. They have some promos and some other things leading up to that stuff.
I got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
just the entire feud.
Oh my God!
Check out Chikara. They got some stuff over there in the YouTube.
Chikara. They closed their doors though. Am I right? I think they did, right?
Maybe
because of the pandemic. Yeah, that's probably what happened. All right, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to close the show, Brandon looks that up. Follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram, The BulletCast, YouTube channel, The BulletCast, email us BulletCast2 is in the number 2 suite, swet@gmail.com. 99.9 FM KW in Watsonville every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. Brandon, did they close their doors? Do we know?
It says on the YouTube or on the Wikipedia. Defunct 2020.
Yes, they are no longer with us. R.I.P. to Chikara. Go watch this great rivalry in memory of Chikara. All right, guys, that is going to do it for Brandon and myself. We will be back next week with another episode where we talk professional wrestling, sports, entertainment, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yes, we can't wait for the Royal Rumble. There's going to be a big title defense for me because I'm a big match guy. I'm a big predictions guy. That's what they call me, I'm a traveling champion, too. I took this thing to Green Bay, Marin County yesterday. I was in Burlingame last week. I'm making the rounds. If you see me, come up, say hi. We can take a socially distanced selfie. I'm not opposed to that. Absolutely.
On the wide angle lens.
Absolutely. Got the Canadian flag on there. They call me the Valkyrie King of the Great White North. I'm doing it for my people, ladies and gentlemen. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined. Diamonds are forever. So is the microphone messiah.